Hey everyone, it's Arcanus Gaming. Thank you for tuning in to another video. Today we have another build, and it is a very fun build that is based off Juggernaut and the Juggernaut burst damage. And just going to be centered around a few things, and you do have a lot of flexibility with this one. So hopefully you guys can switch up the abilities and things like that to optimize it a little bit more. But this is what I have for now. And I don't even have the greatest gear, but you're going to be seeing it. We're still going to be critting for millions of damage without even having optimized passives, gear, and things like that. But I just wanted to show you guys the base build so you guys can get your hands on it and maybe really unlock the potential of this build, because I think you can have a lot of fun. But the three main things that you want to focus on is Juggernaut, Mark of Impurity, and cooldown reduction. So those three things playing together are it's going to help. That's pretty much the recipe to help this build do an insane amount of damage as often as you can. Because as you know, Juggernaut has a pretty long cooldown, but with the help of cooldown itemization and cooldown passives, we can get it down to about 8 seconds for now. I'm not sure if we can get it lower, but that's still really good. And you'll see why. But let's get into the abilities, the passives, and the itemizations. We'll go in that same order. And again, this can be a little bit flexible, so we'll just see what I have for now. Starting off with the first ability, we have Wings of Ishmir, which I have in every one of my builds. But we have Berserker's Onslaught, Shining Hope, Relentless Pursuit, and Twisted Harbinger. So of course we're going to be using our Juggernaut explosions, so we wanted to bring them in as close as possible so we can benefit from all the explosion damage. Sovereign Shout, this is just to buff our all resistance, which helps with the absorb shield. I haven't found out if this is the best for the build, but again, we're still experimenting. This is just what I have for now. But we have Hold the Line, Rallying Cry, Marble House, To Rise Again, Infectious Determination, Dawnbreaker, and Hostile Inspiration. And then of course Juggernaut, we want to be putting everything into our absorption. So we have Standing Rock, Heralded Pavis for the rage reduction, Perpetual Osmosis for more absorption, Cold Steel for the cooldown reduction, Banners Held High, and Vibrations Eternalized. So this is going to maximize the amount of absorption, which is going to maximize the amount of damage. And the more absorb you have, the more damage you do. So let's say you use the shield and it got damaged a little bit, and then you use it again to use the burst, it's not going to do as much damage. That's from what I've gathered so far. So you want to essentially just spam it and explode as soon as you can so you can maximize that damage. Next ability we have, again, we're just messing around with the build. We have Warpath. So we have Sprinting Strides, Overwhelming Impact, Burning Lifeblood, Marrow Eater, Everlasting Ember, and Break the Line. Again, this is just a placeholder ability until I find something good. But the good thing with cooldown is this is on a 2.5 second cooldown. So even if you didn't want to focus your build around Juggernaut and maybe Warpath, you can have some fun with this because you're going to be using it a lot, as you see. The next ability we have is Tracker's Reach. Now this is an important ability to have, at least with the passes we're going for, because we have Preserving Moment for the cooldown, but we do have Arresting Claw to add stasis. I'll go into the passives again, but there's going to be a really good passive that works with stasis. Retracting Chain, Zealous Smite for stun, Rapid Propellation for cooldown, and then Unrelenting Hunt for them to be pulled from all direction. So with the cooldown reduction, you can just forever spam this. And the really good thing is it doesn't cost rage, so you can essentially just sit here and pull enemies in forever. So this could tie into a good and fun group build that you can have going on if you're playing with more than one friend. You're gonna be the tank that jumps in, pulls everything, and does burst. But the last ability, of course, we have Mark of Impurity, and we have Weight of Culpability for the first modifier, Target Eliminated, Fate of the Unholy, Guilt by Association, and then a Sentence Accepted. So basically, we're just trying to do, once we inflict this, we're trying to do as much damage on that target as we can, and when we kill it, it's going to explode and spread the mark so we can do even more damage. So if it doesn't die in one shot, we can set up for it to be for it to die for the second, third, or however long, depending on the strength of the monster. But yeah, so yeah, enemies killed while on the effective mark explode, depending on the health, and then it spreads the mark once they die. So again, basic combo. We're going to be jumping in, marking something, pulling them all in, and exploding on them. Warpath is really for the movement and just to apply another ailment. But again, there's a lot of potential to be had here now that you have a dagger and a shield. If you didn't know, if you have the shield on, you can pretty much do any of the abilities you want. I mean, you have a dagger on, so it doesn't really matter, honestly. Yeah, I don't know what I was trying to say with that. But yeah, let's go into the passives now. Okay, so now we're going to go into passives, and there's a few things that's a must for this build, and it's not too far to get. So starting off in the basic 3 trees you can get, all trees have a cooldown reduction node. So in the soldier tree, it's called quick draw. You basically need 2 points to put into this, and you get 10% cooldown. In the sentinel tree, again, 2 points for quick draw, and another quick draw in the scholar tree. So you want to get this. So this is 30% cooldown reduction right off the bat. And this is really going to help you get your Juggernaut spam out there and increase your damage potential. But other than that, I'm just going to go over the few major nodes that I have so far. Again, this is not optimized. This is something that I'm just messing with. Hopefully this sparks an idea in your guys' head so you can, get even better or unlock the true potential with this build, like I said before. So we're going to be starting off in the soldier tree with the wild card for the crit chance, and then moving along to warmonger tree for manic slaughter. So 2% damage per 100 unconsumed rage points. So we pretty much want to, since we're only going to be using Juggernaut for the most part, at least for this specific build, we're going to be having a lot of rage. So in the perfect world, I'm going to be having 1550 rage when I use Juggernaut. And when I use Juggernaut, it gets me down to 1414. And again, you want to spam it as soon as... Actually, so it costs rage to cast it twice. Excuse me. So let's go back to full rage. This is not a problem. You're still going to have a lot of rage. So once we're at 15... I can probably just shout. So it looks like... I don't know if it's counting us doing the damage at 1354 or 1414. Either way, you're going to have about 26 to 28% more damage just off of that. With your explosion, so that's cool. We're going to be moving clockwise here into the Kabbalist tree. We do have power of the first man to inflict 100% chance to inflict double afflictions or ailments on the enemy. So again, we're going into some ailment stuff. That's why I'm trying to mix and match the abilities here to, of course, benefit off of Immortal Offering a little bit more. Excuse me, which is basically when you kill an enemy with an ailment. You get that ailment stack up to 5, and each ailment stack increases your damage by 5%. So we can be getting a ton of damage from this as long as we, keep applying ailments. I don't have any extra ailment chance or ailment stacks, so again, we're just trying it out, seeing how it works. But you see the direction I'm going, just trying to buff our damage so we can do more Juggernaut damage. And then we're going into the Scholar Tree. This is not a major node, but it's still important because you get 150 max willpower and rage from emotional intelligence, and it's literally right next to the cooldown, so there's no excuse not to get this. And then we're going into the Assassin Tree to get Merciless Lethality. Again, even though this got nerfed, I'm still in love with crit damage. I love seeing big numbers, so we did get this for the extra chance to do more critical damage. And then we have Clandestine Execution in the Assassin Tree, because with our build right now, our Tracker's Reach that applies stasis doesn't affect the major bosses. I don't think, because it doesn't pull them in. I don't think it does it at all, unfortunately, so we're trying to get as much damage as we can. So we get 30% more damage when we're fighting 1v1 with the boss, so that's going to help our burst a little bit more. Then we're moving into the Praetorian Tree. This is where I try to stack as much block percentage as I can to increase the damage absorption. So we got 6% block from here. We got Selfless Courage to increase all resistance as well. Again, resistances increase the damage absorption. So every time we block, this helps. I may switch this out to go into Blessed Mana because we're getting a lot of we're getting more health globes than anything. So this will probably help out a little bit more. The only reason why I want to go in this tree because it gave 5% block chance in the lesser node right here. But I might take points out of this to try to go into this. But that's what we have in the Praetorian Tree. Now moving along to the Armsmaester. Again, I love huge numbers. This might not be the best passive for this build, but Virtual Stance decreases our resistance. I know it kind of works against the build, but we have a chance to do double damage. So we have a 15% chance to do double damage, even though we lose some resistance. But I think the double damage can be more beneficial than losing that 25% resistance score. So if anything, we cancel it out with the Selfless Courage. And then I just put points into these smaller nodes, excuse me, just to get more block chance, again, to increase the damage absorption. And then moving to the Time Weaver, this is probably the most important. That's going to help the damage even more. Most important passive is Which Time Cannot Heal from the Time Weaver tree. So basically, when you hit an enemy inflicted with stasis, you're going to be doing 100% of the hit damage after a 1.5 second delay. So we can spec into it to a little bit more so we can get 120% damage. So, I mean, I'm not doing the math all in my head. So if I do like 7 million damage inflicted on a stasis character, enemy inflicted with stasis, 1.5 seconds later, we're going to be doing, what, 100% hit damage, 120%, so probably like 8 point something million? I don't know. Again, quick maths, that's probably wrong, but it does more damage than the base damage, so just understand that. And then the last thing we're getting, actually, I don't think I went over this, but next we're going into the Warlock tree to get Duty to Exterminate, again for the max rage. You want to put all points into that. And then Child of Fury for Furious Appetite and Frenzied Blow. So when we are over 750 rage, the ability or the skill costs double, but the damage is doubled. So you can see we're trying to do as much burst as we can with the crit damage and then more of the double damage. I'm not sure, honestly, if this stacks with Arms Maester. Like if I do double damage and then Arm Maester procs and do double that double damage, I'm not sure if that is a thing, but I want to believe it is. So we'll keep that for now. But that's what I have for passives for now, at least for this Dagger Shield build. Maybe if you're going into, I'll explain a little bit of the the caster and the Force Shield stuff. There is a passive in here that doubles your Force Shield. Doubles max Force Shield, and your health cannot exceed 5% maximum Force Shield. So if you really wanted to go crazy, you can stack Force Shield, double this, and then your shield absorption with one of the passives right here. Your Force Shield is emptied and added to maximum absorption. So who knows how much Force Shield and how much absorption you can have. You're going to be pretty weak after that, because it does take all your Force Shield. But you probably could one-shot everything before it has a chance to hit you. But again, that's just a theory that I was thinking. I might try that a little bit later. But this is what we have for now. I know this is getting lengthy, so I'll go right into the attributes and the items. For now, with our gear, I just went straight toughness, because you are going to be jumping out there, and you're going to be using your defensive ability for offense. So you jump in there, use it, and jump out, because you're still going to be getting hit by all these enemies if you don't kill them, or if you're pulling them in and you don't stun all of them, they're going to be hitting you. So you want to make sure you're as tanky as you can be, and again, it depends on your items. If you're tanky, if all your items are pretty tanky, you have enough resistances, you're comfortable with your health, then you can start going into the crit, or you can start going into wisdom, so you can go ahead and have a chance to inflict more of those ailments and crit more. But that's what I have for attributes. Itemization, I'll tell you right now, again, my gear's not the best. This is just a start, but there's 3 really important things that you must have for this build, and that's cooldown reduction, and that is found in the helm, chest, and pants slots from what I've found so far. I'm not sure if anything else can benefit from cooldown, but from the helm, we're getting 38% cooldown reduction. I'm not sure if it can go up to 40 or how high it can go. Chest, we have 32%, and then pants, we have another 32%. So this is all playing into getting as much cooldown reduction, getting as tanky as we can. So not only can we survive, but our Juggernaut burst deals the most damage it can. And with our cooldown, so we got the 30% in the tree, the 90-ish, 100%-ish from these items. We're looking at about 8 seconds for our Juggernaut. And while you're waiting for your Juggernaut cooldown, I mean, again, you can be leaping around trying to pull all the enemies in, or if you have other abilities in mind, you can be using those abilities to maximize your ailments and things like that. Maybe you can get Blade Storm and just spin around and just keep inflicting ailments on the enemy. So when you're ready to go ahead and do that Juggernaut burst, you then pull them in, jump in, and kill them all. But we have these abilities. I mean, Warpath is on such a short cooldown. You could spam it every 2 seconds, so there's fun to be having with that. And you can apply ailments with that. But getting off track here. But anything else, I want to say you want all resistance, a high amount of block chance on your shield. Weapon damage doesn't really matter. So if you do try to go like a Blade Storm, you probably want to have different kinds of ailments or different kinds of damage types on your weapon, and maybe through rings and things like that. But just try to maximize your damage, your all resistance, health and things like that, just so you're a little bit tankier. Again, my gear is trash, so I don't want to be showing off all this because I don't have everything I'm saying in the pieces of gear. I'm just telling you what you should go for. And gems, probably just put, you can either go all resistance or just straight physical resistance. Again, I'm not sure whether the shield is based off both elemental and physical, or if it's just based on physical. So I'm just going for physical resistance right now. You could go health as well if you have the resistance you need. Other than that, I guess go percent damage, ferocity, crit chance. Nothing that we haven't done before, but you want to have that that all resistance on there as well. So that's pretty much it for abilities, passives, modifiers, attributes, and items. I know it's not the most detailed. We are at the beginning stages of this, but I'll go ahead and show gameplay now just to show the potential with our shitty gear. Just to show you, like, you don't need the craziest of gear. But we are going to do a 133. We'll go ahead and do a 130. This is probably, I mean, that's how good we're gonna be with this build right now without all the passive optimizations and things like that. But I'll just show you. You want to pretty much pull everything in, use a Mark of Impurity, and explode. Everything dies pretty much. And if they don't die, you're pulling them all in and flicking them with stasis. So if they don't die in one shot, hopefully they die in two. But this is why you want to be tanky. You can sit here forever if you're tanky enough. Just wait. Boom, explode. We're 7 million damage right there. And I'm sure that isn't affected by Arms Maester. So just pull him in, and then blow him up. Okay, this guy oh, see, perfect example. With our stasis passive, it didn't die at first, but when the passive proc, then he died. So this just shows how much damage you can do. I don't even know how much HP he has. 22 million. Okay. Is it 2 million? Yeah. So we do 1 million there and another 1 million there. So let's wait. 4 million with the crits. Pull these in, and again, you want to watch your HP. And I'm not even applying ailments. We're not optimizing this at all. But I'm just showing you, just with the shield. We're one-shotting things. Just with the shield and Mark of Impurity, you can one-shot things. And I'm not even using all the abilities. I'm not maximizing the ailments. We only have one ailment stack, really. But again, early stages of the build, really fun. And you can see the explosion from Mark of Impurity going off as well. You see all those other numbers? Oh, messed up. Doesn't matter. All that guy was out of reach. That's why you want to try to pull him in as much as you can. You want to shout, pull him in, affect him with that stasis, and then explode. Again, this is probably not the fastest build, but it's just sure as hell fun. And it could probably work really well in group situations. If you're the main tank and you're the guy pulling in all the stuff, pull him in. Stasis procs, dead. We'll go a little bit further, and then that guy jumped to his death. And I'll show off the other ability I was trying to go for. If you don't want to go like tanky, you want to go more force shield mage and put on the catalyst, we can go ahead and check that out. I wanted to wait for my shield to kill that guy. But again, 8-second shields. The whole time you're waiting for the shield, just pull him around, gather him, prime your Mark of Impurity, and then when it's time, unleash. So I'll go ahead and actually do that now. So if we equip a catalyst, we're just going to equip any random catalyst, and instead of Tracker's Reach, we're going to equip Anomaly, I believe the ability is called. Oh, it's ABC order. So we'll equip Anomaly. Oh god. And we do got to spend some Rage. So we can essentially do this, pull them all in, blow them up. So as long as you have your Force Shield, or if you want to go mix between like caster tanky, you can as well, as long as you're building that all resistance. And you can still have a block chance without having a shield on. It's just, it does help. But we'll go ahead and spend some Rage here. Mark of Impurity. Pull them all in with that. Jump. And then explode. We're not doing as much damage since, I think they're tough. But again, we're not doing as much damage since we don't have the maximum amount of Absorb Shield. But again, this is just an example of what you can do. So we'll get Mark of Impurity. Can I do multiple? I can. Pull them all in. Let them get affected by that stasis. Maybe potion. And then blow up. Then rinse, repeat. Again, you're just waiting for your cooldowns. And then set up your Juggernaut explosion. And you get a legendary. If you use this build, you're guaranteed a legendary. Ooh, that's not even that bad. 35% cooldown reduction. 26. Holy shit. And it has Force Shield. So we just got a really good item actually for this build. I'm just going to put it on for more cooldown reduction. Now we're at... Seems a little bit less. 8 seconds when we don't have this chest. I mean, it's not crazy amount of cooldown reduction. 0.2 seconds. I mean, that can make the difference. So we'll equip that for now. Again, you can go up to a little bit more than 32, as we just saw. Forgot I have this build. Cast that. Shield. Explode. So you're afflicting that stasis damage with the with the anomaly, and then blowing them up, and hopefully getting use of that passive with the stasis and the explosion. And again, we're not maximizing this build. I'm sorry guys, but this is just an example. Look at our shitty gear and look how much damage we're doing. This is the potential that this build has. So we're gonna mark anomaly. You can jump in and then everything just dies in that area. But we'll go ahead and fight the boss just to see how different and how a little bit more challenging it may be with the boss. I just want to kill one more thing. Oh, yeah, sorry. A fun little thing you can do as well with Anomaly, there's a talent or a modifier that when you use it, health globes get pulled in and do damage. So you can shout to increase the health globes that they drop, tick them away, and then drop this, and then the health globes will just get sucked in. If you really want to see that, if you really want to blow your ears out, you can do that. But that's just what I have for now. And it's just fun. So let's go ahead. Let's equip our shield back, actually. Kill all these things. And we'll equip our Tracker's Reach back. And we're doing this live, so I'm sorry for all the pauses and things like that. Put our shield back on, and let's fight the last boss. And again, still getting used to talking and playing, so sorry if I stuttered here and there. But this build has a lot of potential, and hopefully you guys can mess around with it. But this is how you just pretty much just Mark of Impurity, shield, just run around him until you shoot. It's really kind of boring, but at the same time, like, as long as you're good at dodging stuff, you don't have to worry. Then you can get a lucky crit off. Mark of Impurity. There you go. Just run around the boss, really. He has tough. I don't know how we got hit by that. There we go. Good big crit right there. And you're just literally running around. You can spam these abilities, but they don't do as much damage. Really, you're just Juggernaut spamming and just running around the boss. But yeah, it's really easy to use. As you see, these end bosses aren't really much of a trouble, at least at 130 with our shitty gear. And as long as you're not getting hit and getting your rage back up, actually, you just keep running around them. But yeah, I mean, it's taking a little bit, but you're not dying, so boom. Then you get lucky with a big crit like that and have a chance to really do some damage. But we'll go ahead and exit. That's the build pretty much. Again, like I said before, there's multiple ways you can take this build. Force shield. You can go into a sorcerer. Maybe now that you're equipping a dagger, you can have some fun with these dagger abilities, Havoc Orb, Evasion, Dust Shroud, the turret, Vanderblade. You have access to all this stuff as long as you're stacking cooldown and all resistance or force shield, and then of course Mark of Impurity and ailments. You're going to be able to do a lot of damage. But yeah, I know this was a really scuffed show off of the build, but I'm just showing you, even with this scuff build, you can be clearing 130s easily without a problem, and you could be doing so much damage. So hopefully you guys enjoy this type of build. It's something different. I don't think I've seen a build like this yet, but I don't know. Maybe you guys can unlock the full potential of this build. Hopefully this gives you some ideas for an even better build, but let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.